Hi, my name is Natasha. I'm 18 and I have suffered from depression, anxiety and post-traumatic stress disorder. These still affect me sometimes, but I'm much better at identifying and coping with them now. My mental health illnesses started when I was only young. My dad and older sister were in a car crash when I was 7, which was the start of my post-traumatic stress disorder. I also witnessed my father being abusive towards my mother, and had a close childhood friend pass away when I was in primary 7. I've actually repressed quite a lot of the memories and emotions surrounding these events, but I know that they were not happy times, and that was when my mental health issues started. My mental health was at its worst when I was in S2 and 3, following my parents' separation, as I was attempting to maintain a relationship with my father, even though I didn't trust him and didn't approve of the way that he treated my mother. I must point out that he never abused me, he was just quite harsh and strict as a parent. I decided in S3 to stop having contact with my dad, and that was a very hard and scary decision to make, but also liberating to know that I was able to be in control for once. At the time, I was unaware that I suffered from any kind of mental health illnesses. It was only around the time when I was in S4 when I started speaking to my mum more about it and learning about different mental health illnesses at school and online that I realised that I was a sufferer. My friends, other than the close ones who I discussed my problems with, probably wouldn't have identified that I was unhappy at the time, as I was often cheery and full of energy while at school, as that was how I wanted to be seen, and it became a break from my mental illnesses. I didn't want people to judge me for what I was going through or treat me any differently once they knew about my past. I'm very grateful for my friends for being there for me and not judging me. Throughout my years suffering, I tried many different ways of coping and dealing with my mental health illnesses. I tried going to counselling and seeing a homeopath and getting a homeopathic remedy, which was essentially a natural alternative to antidepressants. However, the things that helped me most were speaking to my guidance teacher, who I luckily got on very well with, and speaking to my mum and sisters. I'm aware that not everyone is as lucky as I was, and is not able to speak to their family or guidance teacher. For those of you who feel that way, I would recommend looking up help services in your area, as there is a lot of help out there for young people who suffer from mental illnesses, although there could definitely be a lot more. There are online chat lines and support groups if you don't feel comfortable speaking to somebody in person. I know it can be very scary to open up to someone about the way that you're feeling, but I promise that getting everything off your chest really does help a lot. I've been told recently to never apologise for the way I feel, and I wish I'd been told that when I was younger, because I was constantly feeling like I shouldn't feel low or upset, when actually I did have reason to feel that way. I would also recommend finding something positive to focus on. I know a lot of young people turn to things like drugs and alcohol and self-harm when suffering from mental health issues. For me, I learned to play guitar, and put all my energy into playing guitar and singing. I also found that it helped me a lot to get away from people and technology and go for a walk to clear my head when I felt down or anxious. I would like anyone watching who has been through similar things to know that it does get better. For me, I have improved so much since I left school, as I no longer have the pressures that come with high school, for example friendships and exams. I always said that once I was in a happier place, I would attempt to see my dad again. But now that I am in a happier place, I don't feel ready to put myself back into a vulnerable position and put my mental health at risk again. I can now say that I'm quite happy with the person that I am today, and I wouldn't change my past, as it's my experiences that have made me who I am today, and I quite like who I am, which I think is a very important revolution for me and anyone else suffering with mental health illnesses. Being able to say, I like who I am, and I am proud of what I have accomplished. Thank you.